Hello, this is the Daily Forex Report for May 3rd. We are looking at the US-Japanese yen pair. This pair closed down during today's session, moving lower, biases to the downside. Look for it on a reversal, however, to go as high as 81.64, possibly as low as 80.29. Look for some resistance around 81.25 and look for some support around 80.50. Okay, let's take a look at the Euro-USD pair. This pair has started to move sideways. Broke the low of the previous session, but not the high. Still looking for it to move to the upside, possibly going as high as 149.61, possibly as low as 146.92. Look for some resistance around 149.05 and look for some support around 147.50. Now the pound US dollar pair. This pair surged to the downside, came right down to previous areas of support and held, still looking for it to move to the upside. This the pound's been stair-stepping up, so pullback like this is not necessarily uncommon, with it still continuing to the upside. Look for it to potentially go as high as 167.34, possibly as low as 163.20. Look for some resistance around 166.15 and look for some support around 164.28. Now the U.S. Swiss, it continues to move to the downside, closed lower, broke through previous support. Looking for this one to continue lower. Look for some resistance on a pullback at 0.8675. Look for support to kick in around 0.8590. Now, as far as news announcements go, we have the Eurozone releasing their retail sales for March. That's being released at 5 a.m. Eastern Time. Consensus on that is that it's moved higher from negative 0.2% to negative 0.1%. Showing year-to-date being released at the same time from actually a drop year-to-date from 0.4% down to 0.0%. Of course, that'd be negative news for the euro as far as the year-to-date number, so definitely keep an eye on that one. We also have the U.S. ISM non-manufacturing composite for April being released at 10 a.m. Eastern for the U.S. dollar. Consensus on that is that manufacturing has moved from 57.3 to 57.5. It would really have to be a strong difference for it to affect the markets. Now, what am I looking for during this next session? Well, if you draw a trend line here from the from this point right here in the U.S. Swiss on the day time frame down, basically tagging some of these lows along the way, and then let's just go ahead and zoom on in, and let's drop a horizontal line there at the low, basically looking for a break of the low and looking for it to come down to my trend line about 44 pips. You can use a risk to reward of 1-to-1 on this trade, looking just for a quick 44 pips to the downside to continue with this trend. I mean, if we back out and look at this trend to the downside, it's just continuing to move lower and lower and lower. So if we get a break, looking for it to move that much lower to the downside. This is, if you notice, near a 0.0 level. It's actually below it at 0.8594. So I'd look to go in around 0.8593, and then I'm looking to exit when it hits my trend line down here at around the 0.8550 mark, 51 mark in that area, grabbing about 40 pips. Hope that helps, and until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.